And so I want to take this moment to thank all of you who were involved in this struggle, not just for engaging in one of the most important actions for liberation the prison movement has ever seen, but also for providing a model for all struggles for liberation. And I want most particularly to thank Ralph Ham and Ed Rodman and Bobby DeLillo and Jamie Bissonette.
I'm more of a writer than a talker, but all my friends laugh. I had always sworn, I've worked as a criminologist for over 30 years now, and I'd always sworn that I would not write a book because there are so many books written about prisons, about prison policies, about how they need to change, and the reasons they need to change. They end up with a 10-point plan or a 12-point plan, and I said, I'm not going to write that kind of book. And one day I was in my office, and Paul Shannon came in, who's the film archivist for the American Friends Service Committee, and he put down a pile this high of film canisters, 16mm film canisters, on my desk, and said, when you have a chance, could you look at these and see if they're worth being put onto, those days it was VCRs. And I just looked at him. I don't even know how to operate a 16mm projector, never mind look at these films. And so they sat on my desks, and one day Maria Johnson, Ralph's wife, and Barbara McCarthy came into my office, and Barbara's son had been in prison for quite a while. And they said, oh, 3,000 years in life, that's about when the prisoners ran Walpole. And I said, what? And 30 years work in this field, and I'd never heard of this story. And so 2 days later, I learned how to run a 16mm projector. We piled 80 people into the AFSC office, and we watched this jumpy film that documented the vision of John Boone, the dedication of Band 2, and the willingness of Robert DeLillo to cross racial divides and do unified organizing. And it was brilliant. But the way that most things like this are done, this is a collective of people. No one's name was typed carefully across the bottom of the film. We didn't know who these people were. Somebody in the room would say, oh, I think that was so-and-so. People didn't even recognize Bobby. It was so many years ago. And so it kind of sat there. And when Ed retired from the Episcopal Divinity School, he called me up, and we had worked together for about...
Episcopal Diocese.
From the Episcopal Diocese. He said, I have some archives that I think you might want. Actually, they belong to Mary Norris, and they really should go to you. And so I sent over an intern to pick it up, an intern that had seen the film with me, and we talked about doing a book about it. And she opened the boxes, and all of the Observer reports were there. So we labored over that for another year or so. Should we do something from the Observer's perspective? And I really felt the story needed to be told from the prisoner's perspective. And then John Osler called me, and he said, I heard you were doing a book about the Civilian Observer program, and I have Phyllis Ryan's archives here. Would you be interested? And I said, interested? When can I get them? And I went over to John's office, and there were 3 banker boxes high. Phyllis saved everything the prisoners wrote, everything she wrote, every idea she had, every angry feeling she had about anything anyone said. It was all there. And so over the course of the next 5 years, with Ed's assistance, John Boone's assistance, Ralph Ham's assistance, and Robert DeLillo's assistance, we birthed this book. And I say we birthed it because it was a long journey.